Hi, and welcome to the Mobile Matradee Reservation Matradee web demo. My name is Brandon Munson, and today I'll take you through Mobile Matradee's reservation system. Mobile Matradee's reservation system is a pretty unique product in terms that it not only helps you manage your reservations, but it also integrates with your guest list, your wait list, as well as your call ahead seating. So it has all those functions, as well as a capability to either remind guests that they have reservations for that evening, and as well as to be able to seat guests who have arrived, rather than using a pager system or adding additional host staff to go and track down guests. So it's a pretty efficient model. And it also has a mobile marketing component, which can drive traffic on a slow night, which is another great option. Okay, let's get started. Here's Mobile Matradee's website, mobilematradee.com. And when you use Mobile Matradee, what you'll end up doing is you'll go to our web portal page, which is mobilevip.biz. And what we recommend is that you make this a favorite on your web browser, particularly the whatever system you're using to, if it's a mini laptop, if it's an iTouch, if it's an iPad, whatever you're using, just make it your homepage, your favorite, your homepage of your browser. So for whatever reason, the system goes asleep, someone closes out of the browser, the hostess can easily just open up the browser and it automatically comes up. You don't want to lose any time trying to figure out where the page is. Okay, so here's our secured iPhone. You put in your username and password and click enter, and that will bring you right into our system. And typically this is where you'll land. This is our landing page once you're inside, and it's on our reports page. And so if you're using Reservation Matradee, you're going to click Reservations. If you're using Call Ahead, you'll click Call Ahead, which is our waitlist management system. So in this case, we're just going to go right to Reservations. And here we are. The reservation screen, the way it's been designed, is specifically to be is for the host not to have to navigate away from this screen. And we found that's a really important feature of our restaurant clients. There's only one time that you will navigate away from the screen, and I'll show you that. Okay, up top here are your tabs: wait, seated, cancel, reports, instant. So we're on the wait list tab right here. Seated is the tab that would it's where we put all the folks who've been seated. Anybody who canceled will be under this canceled tab. And reports is the page we just came from. And instant is basically where you can go to send an instant mobile marketing campaign and then log off. Here's your reservation book. Okay, so if you want to see today's date's 10/1, if you want to see reservations, say for tomorrow or later in the week, just change the date and click show date. And these are the reservations. See, it says 10/2, which is Saturday. These are the people who made reservations out for Saturday. That's simple. Okay. It always defaults back to the day that you're on, which is important. So you don't, say you're checking reservations for tomorrow. You don't have to worry about forgetting going back to today's page, and then all of a sudden you realize you're seating people on the wrong day. So it automatically defaults back. So here we are back at our wait list. We have a few people who had reservations who are in the system. And how this is set up is you have the name, and here's the name field, and here's the memo field. And we find the memo field is important for hosts like to use that to have a brief description or whatnot. Party size, right here, party size. And here what we have is arrive time and call time. Working with a restaurant that helped us build this, they thought it was important to actually know when the guest, actually set their reservation. It might not be important to you, but for them they felt it was important. And then when they arrive, you click this button. And this really helps the host optimize table turning, because if these buttons aren't pressed and that arrive is there, she or he knows that they can continue seating folks that don't have an arrive button. And that really moves the list along rather than trying to figure out if somebody's there or not. Here's the wait time box, and that's actually our counter that tracks how long somebody's been waiting. What time their reservation was made. In this case, Rogers was 7:15 and Barbara was 7:30 reservation, the date. And here's how we're going to notify them. They've opted when they called up. We asked, would you like a text or voice notification or reminder? And in this case, they opted for a text, which it typically defaults to. And the edit button and seated button. Okay, so let me show you how it works. So Munson's show up. And we'll say VIP, party of 4. Reservation time is going to be around, let's see, 7:45. And you can click or tap these if you have a touch screen, by the way. Reservation is going to be for today, so we'll just leave that alone. Put in, ask for a cell phone number. And then because our reservations, we click the drop-down menu and click call in, because that means they called in to make a reservation. If you have call-ahead seating, now people can call up and say, hey, I'm going to be in later tonight. And if you have call-ahead seating, you can use reservation, the call in for reservation or call-ahead seating. Just click call in. And in this case, I'm going to want a text message, so you don't have to do anything. Now, if I said no, I want a call, I don't have a text plan, you just check that box, and they'll get a canned voice message rather than a text. And then click finish. Okay, as you can see here, I'm in the system, and no one has arrived yet. So now, let's say Rogers, the office party people, are starting to arrive. Okay, so what we're going to do is click the arrive button. Okay, so they've arrived, and at this point, what we're doing here is we can see that the counter has started tracking how long they're waiting. In this case, it's only been 5 seconds. And they're going to receive a text and whatnot. Now, let's say they came up to you and said, you know what, we have more people coming, than anticipated. This is the only time you navigate away from the screen. Click Edit, and we can adjust this, and let's say they're going to add 2 more people. And if you want, you can change the quote time, you can change the number, and they decided that they'd rather have a text message. Click Call, click Finish. So anytime you navigate away from the seating screen is just to make any edits, and you can edit right on the fly. So Rogers office party, now it went from 10 to 12. You can see that they called in at 6:54 and they arrived at 7:02. They've been waiting 47 seconds, and their table reservations for 7:15. And they were going to get a text, and now they're going to get a call, and that's the call button. Okay, now let's say you have a walk-in. Two high chairs, and party size of 4. Now, they don't have a reservation time, but rather than saying, we're going to quote you 20 minutes, we can figure out that if it's about 7:05, that their quote time is probably going to be 20 minutes or 25 minutes from that time is probably going to be around, let's say, 7:15. Okay, and what if let's say they don't have a mobile number, or for whatever reason they don't want to give you a mobile number. That's fine, just leave the field blank. They're a walk-in, just leave it on walk-in, and click Finish. Now you can see walk-ins are in beige, and that helps the hosts actually, at a glance, manage who's actually here, because obviously in beige they've walked in. The green represents that they were reservations, so they would take priority in most cases over the walk-ins. And the arrive button is another visual cue that enables her to know, or him to know, that whether the people are actually there or not. So you can see the arrive time and call time are the same, party of 4, 7:15, and it says not text capable, which essentially lets you know that these folks don't have a phone. And what do you do in that case? We do what we always did in the past. We would actually probably have we use a reservation field and put a better description of the party, number 1, which I should have done. And number 2, we tell the folks to come back around 7:15 to check if their table's ready. I mean, that's how we used to do it. So we can just rely on that. And in this case, it's time to seat the Roger party. So we go over here and we click Call. And now the system automatically sends out a call, and as you can see here, that number 1 demonstrates that 1 call went out. And that's important, so you can track how many times you've tried to notice someone. So we think that's important, and the call's gone out. It takes a minute or 2, simply because it's actually dialing the phone. Okay, that's the call. And at that point, we can seat them. So we can assign a seat, or table 5, and click seat. Now they're seated. Okay, same thing with Munson's. Looks like Barbara just arrived at the birthday party. We click arrive. We can see that they called in at 6:45. They arrived at 7:05, and when it's ready to seat them, we click call.